Hey everybody, Corrections 101 here. This video will definitely not be monetized. I'm not even going to attempt to monetize the video because of the content that it has. Before we even get into it, I have a lot of thoughts on this video with me spending, in the past, several years in juvenile corrections in the state of Illinois. I have the Juvenile Detention Center in question here is Sangamon County Juvenile Detention Center in Springfield, Illinois. I've been to that detention center multiple times doing transports to and from that facility, actually. So I'm quite familiar with that facility. What happened there in this instance is unforgivable as far as a juvenile offender being able to obtain a firearm within a juvenile jail. I mean, let's keep it clear. I mean, juvenile detention center operates as basically an adult jail. I mean, there's not a lot of differences, but I'm going to put my Cash App and PayPal in the description if you want to, support this channel. Great. Like I said, this, I'm not asking for money by any means, but a lot of people just want, that information. And I'm definitely not going to even try monetizing this video because of the content. So let's get into it. Like I said, most people know that I spent multiple years in Illinois as a juvenile corrections officer. And I've done some reaction videos on juvenile detention videos to where, there was a riot or some other, assaults on staff and how incredibly dangerous they can be. And in the comment sections of those videos, had a lot of people, it's amazing, that say, juveniles shouldn't belong in jail. It's a shame that they're in jail, this and that. Well, I'm telling you what, these juveniles are there on very serious crimes, the same as adults. You're looking at murder. You're looking at aggravated assault, firearms charges, aggravated assault, sexual assault. I mean, these, especially after COVID, when COVID hit, it was the same way as jails, for adults, like it was with juveniles, to where they were trying to keep the population down. And so now, especially after COVID, with the advent of, Zoom court visits and everything like that, they really, the only juveniles in juvenile detention centers are the really, really serious offenders. I mean, juvenile detention centers in Illinois, I can assure you, they're not there for stealing a pack of bubble gum. They're there on very, very serious charges. These juveniles would have no problem shooting you, shooting your spouse, shooting your kids, robbing them, sexually assaulting them. They are there on very, very serious charges. Before we get in the video, just kind of what I know about the situation. I've been wanting to do this video for about 2.5 months since it happened, but I wanted to wait because like I said, I have a very extensive record as far as being a detention officer for juvenile detention in Illinois. Plus, I graduated from Western Illinois University with my law enforcement and justice administration degree and went to law school in Illinois. So I have a huge, extensive network in Illinois and was able to kind of find out a lot of stuff that's all, came to be true. But I wanted to wait until, official stuff came out. So I was kind of biting my tongue before doing a video on this incident that happened 2.5 months ago. Sangamon County, like I said, is in Springfield, Illinois. This juvenile that committed the offense of, having a firearm in the juvenile detention center and taking a hostage, he was not there on his first day. A lot of people are speculating that, hey, he just, officers didn't pat him down. He was able to smuggle in a handgun to commit this crime, to be able to take the hostage situation. That isn't the case. He had been there for quite some time on some very, very serious charges. I have a good feeling on how this handgun got into the juvenile detention center. but I'm not going to speculate at this time. I'm going to wait. The investigation is still ongoing with the Illinois State Police. But I will just say this handgun had to come in to the juvenile facility one of two ways, either by staff, which I highly doubt. I don't see any of this staff bringing in a handgun to give to this juvenile. And Illinois, in its infinite wisdom, they treat juvenile offenders of very serious crimes as kids. There's this complete disconnect between how bad these juveniles are and these state academics. And academics are great and everything, but these people have never worked in juvenile detention, or if they have, it's 10 years ago, and they're idealists to where, well, instead of having visits, with glass between them to where it's no contact, well, they're just kids. We need to have in-person contact visits. Well, so that's a huge part that I believe that led up to this. This juvenile was allowed to have contact visits with family. And I'll just leave it at that. You can let your mind go as you wish to figure out how that handgun probably got to that juvenile. But I'm not going to, as bad as I feel for the staff, because the staff is going to have to live with this, for the rest of their lives. This was complete incompetence by the staff. At juvenile facilities that I worked at in Illinois, we had walk-through metal detectors. We had, the hand wands, and we also did pat-down searches, and we searched, things like purses, stuff like that. And actually purses, they weren't even allowed in a visit. They would have to go in a locker before you even went through the metal detectors or anything like that. So complete incompetence by this juvenile detention center of how that handgun got into this juvenile detention facility. Needless to say, this detention center has been closed. It's no longer operational because of the sheer incompetence of a couple officers or, senior administration, whatever the case is. It was complete incompetence, and rightfully so. This juvenile detention center in Sangamon County in Illinois is no longer functional. But I just, like I said, I've been to Sangamon County several times, transporting juvenile offenders in and out of this facility. So I'm quite familiar with it. But this video just got released 2 days ago. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, and just kind of, I wanted to wait for, everything I had heard correlates and matches what I heard, in this video. And so before we get into this, I just need to give the disclaimer. It's quite graphic. It could be upsetting. I want to give any trigger warnings out to anybody that may be triggered by violence or handgun violence or anything like that. Before we get into the video, before I show it, I want to explain what's going to happen. So it's going to start off with the chief of police there in Springfield. I believe it's the chief of police, and maybe an informational officer. I believe it's the chief, though. He's gonna walk through kind of what happened. Then it's going to go to security footage in the juvenile detention center, with the juvenile having the handgun and taking the hostage, shooting rounds at staff and other juveniles that are not only in the common area right outside the master control center, but also through other pods and other areas to where staff and juveniles are. Ultimately, the master control operator, I'm not going to be too critical of him. They actually start opening doors for the juvenile to let him and the hostage out, which should never happen. In a hostage situation, you never give in to demands. You just wait. You don't give into any demands, and you wait for a hostage team to come in, either from the Illinois State Police or from the county if they have a specialized unit or whatever. Upon the officer, multiple officers arriving on the scene, the juvenile and his hostage exit the front door of the juvenile detention facility, and the juvenile who took the hostage is shot and ultimately is killed. But props to this officer. He does a great job. You can tell, we hear a lot about, officers need to be funded. They need to have all this training. This officer is highly trained. I mean, in a high stress moment, he's on the move with a long gun, with a rifle. And it's amazing that he takes so many shots. The female resident that is taken hostage is not shot once, and with as many rounds as he put down range, he's able to take out the juvenile hostage taker without hurting the hostage. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to try not to cut into it as much as possible, but I will when I feel like it. So here we go.
Hello, I'm Ken Scarlett, Chief of Police for the Springfield, Illinois Police Department. The purpose of this video is to provide available video surveillance footage, officer body-worn camera footage, and 911 tapes pertaining to an officer-involved shooting. The shooting took place on September 30th around 7:45 p.m. at the Sangamon County Juvenile Detention Center, as an armed individual who had taken a female hostage was attempting to escape the secured facility. Additionally, the same individual had fired at multiple victims inside the center just prior to officers' arrival. Our agency remains committed to transparency, as the intention of releasing this narrated video is to provide greater insight into the active shooting within the center, as well as the heroic actions of the responding officers. There may be portions of this video that are difficult to watch, and viewer discretion is advised. We will begin with the 911 calls that were made by several employees who were inside the detention center at the time of the shooting.
911, what's the emergency?
And there you can see that red window pane with the bullet hole. That's actually going to be the master control, where they operate, opening all the doors to the different parts of the detention center. So he's already shot at detention personnel. And this female right here, hopefully you can see my cursor there, here in the dark clothing, that is a female resident. Of course, that's another, female juvenile inmate, but of course they want us to use the watered down language and, saying we're saying resident instead of inmate, because they're cute, cuddly kids that definitely wouldn't commit any crimes like this. So
this is Sangamon County Juvenile Center. Oh my goodness.
What's going
We
on?
have a kid that has a gun and he's shooting inside of oh my God, we need somebody here now, please.
He's inside shooting.
Yes, he's inside. Somehow he's got a gun.
He has a
He's
hostage.
He has a hostage with him.
Where did you last see him at?
He's out of control room. He has a gun. He was holding.
Did he shoot me once?
there he just shot again.
He did. Yes.
You think he did?
Who's he holding hostage? One of the other residents, a female, and he just shot through the window at me. Okay, so he's holding a female resident hostage. He's got a female resident hostage. He just blew a window right next to me when I was trying to get into another room with another resident. We need as many units as you got. Okay.
216, 217, 201, 202, and you can start callers in the control room, 2201 South Dirksen. Have a juvenile inside the business shooting. Several shots fired, 2201 South Dirksen.
Attention all units. Sangamon County is en route to an active shooter, 2201 South Dirksen, the Juvenile Center.
Multiple officers from the Springfield Police Department and surrounding agencies responded to this initial call for service.
So this is going to be the responding officer that actually takes out the juvenile offender that takes the hostage. As you can see there on his right, that's going to be your CAD unit, which is a computer-aided dispatch on his laptop. You can see all the information there as far as the Sangamon County Juvenile Center with all the information. On CAD units, they can also send, via laptop, instead of radio traffic, updates on what's going on with the call. But so that's what a CAD is. I know you hear a lot about CADs and people are like, what in the hell is a CAD? CAD is an acronym for computer aided dispatch, which are on the laptops of units. So
the first arriving squad car was occupied with a veteran SPD officer and a recruit in training. Here you will observe their actions upon arrival to this rapid.
Which is amazing. I mean, yeah, here you have this veteran officer. He's only backed up by basically an officer in training. I don't know if this is a field training officer or what, but again, this is just amazing that they can go through this and he's able to take out this juvenile offender. And there's no other loss of life, no other major injuries to the female offender that was taken hostage. It's absolutely just amazing police work by this officer that you're watching now.
Evolving scene.
Stay here. Watch what you see. Tell me what you see.
The veteran officer immediately retrieves his department-issued rifle from the trunk area. As the officer in training takes up a position just behind him, the two quickly developed a plan of action and began to approach the front entry doors of the facility when they observed the front door swing wide open. The veteran officer observed the suspect armed with a handgun and the hostage. Please keep in mind.
Again, just a trigger warning. If you're, this could be upsetting to some people who are, triggered by any kind of use of force by firearms or anything like that. The faces are blurred out, but it can be a little bit graphic. So just a fair warning to everybody.
And this portion of the video is difficult to watch.
Now, do you see right there? We're going to back up here. We're going to back up. Look in the upper right, and you can see in the upper left too how close the male offender and the female is that he took hostage, and that the amount of rounds he puts down range that while he is on the move and he's at a pretty good distance here, never hits the hostage once. Great, just an absolute great response by this officer. It's a perfect clear shooting by the officer, and just great police work by this officer.
Please keep in mind this portion of the video is difficult to watch. As you will witness, even though the suspect has been shot and the weapon dislodged from his hand, he still attempts to regain control of it, at which time the officer fires another round. The officer recognizes the suspect has now raised his...
Yep, and as you can see there, he was going for the gun again, and the officer puts a round right through that window. I'd love to know what kind of ammunition that is, because those windows that are in any kind of correctional facility, whether it's an adult jail or a juvenile detention facility, those things are solid. But just great policing. I just can't get over how good of work this police officer did. Just really good police work.
His hands in the air, at which time he requests immediate medical attention. Also at this time, the hostage is taken away to safety by the officer in training.
Get up. Do not move. Up. Suspect down. Go. Right here.
As other officers arrive on scene, they begin to provide life-saving medical care by applying tourniquets to the now injured suspect. until medical professionals arrived. The suspect was rushed to a nearby Level 1 Trauma Center, HSHS St. John's Hospital, where he would succumb to his injuries. The hostage received...
Yeah, in this really bad juvenile offender, yeah, he, I'm sure, I don't know what his exact charges were that led him in there to be in there for a very long time. But, he took somebody hostage. He tried shooting and killing correctional staff. And even after all that, these officers are trying to save his life. So this nonsense of officers just want to, go and, kill people, it's ridiculous. I mean, these officers, this is what we want in our communities. These are amazing, amazing officers.
Superficial injuries from shrapnel, and she was treated and released from a local hospital. While the death is tragic, the instantaneous organized response, which was carried out exactly how the officers were trained, clearly prevented additional loss of life. Officers recovered a Garson 9mm handgun from the foyer area that the suspect had in his possession throughout the entire incident. In accordance with the Springfield Police Department general orders, both initial responding officers have been placed on restricted duty assignment pending the complete and thorough investigation, which is handled by the Illinois State Police. All relevant material pertaining to this case has been forwarded to the Sangamon County State's Attorney's Office. Law enforcement is a dangerous profession that oftentimes requires split-second decision-making. It is this decision-making that can oftentimes be the difference maker as it pertains to active shooting incidents. I commend the professionalism of all responding officers.
And it's really frustrating, and just probably my last time interjecting before you watch this again uninterrupted, but it's really frustrating that these officers are still on light duty pending an investigation. It's been 2.5 months. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to watch this video and 30 minutes later put these officers back on the street. This is ridiculous. Illinois, the soft on crime crap has to stop. This is clearly a good shoot. They were clearly justified. There was no unnecessary force. They saved, someone who was taken hostage and potentially, a lot of other people. But this is Illinois. We're talking about, a soft on crime state. But let's finish this out and we'll go back and watch it uninterrupted.
And I'm grateful this terrible incident was brought to a swift resolution.
All right, so we're going to go back and watch it uninterrupted by myself. Let's go back here.
Inside of
The center at the time of the shooting.
911, what's the emergency?
This is Sangamon County Juvenile Center. Oh my goodness.
What's going
We
on?
have a kid that has a gun and he's shooting inside of the oh my God, we need somebody here now, please.
He's inside shooting?
Yes, he's inside. Somehow he's got a gun.
He has a
He's
hostage?
He has a hostage with him.
Where did you last see him at?
He's by the control room. He has a gun. He was holding.
Did he shoot me once?
I think he did. Yes.
You think he did?
Who is he holding hostage? One of the other residents, a female, and he just shot through the window at me. Okay, so he's holding a female resident hostage. He's got a female resident hostage. He just blew a window right next to me when I was trying to get into another room with another resident. We need as many units as you got. Okay.
216, 217, 201, 202, and start. Callers in the control room, 2201 South Dirksen. Have a juvenile inside the business shooting. Several shots fired, 2201 South Dirksen.
Attention all units. Sangamon County is en route to an active shooter, 2201 South Dirksen, the Juvenile Center.
Multiple officers from the Springfield Police Department and surrounding agencies responded to this initial call for service. The first arriving squad car was occupied with a veteran SPD officer and a recruit in training. Here you will observe their actions upon arrival to this rapidly evolving scene.
Watch what you see. Tell me what you see.
The veteran officer immediately retrieves his department-issued rifle from the trunk area as the officer in training takes up a position just behind him. The two quickly developed a plan of action and began to approach the front entry doors of the facility when they observed the front door swing wide open. The veteran officer observed the suspect armed with a handgun and the hostage. Please keep in mind this portion of the video is difficult to watch. As you will witness, even though the suspect has been shot and the weapon dislodged from his hand, he still attempts to regain control of it, at which time the officer fires another round. The officer recognizes the suspect has now raised his hands in the air, at which time he requests immediate medical attention. Also at this time, the hostage is taken away to safety by the officer in training.
Get up. Do not move. Suspect down. Go. Right here.
As other officers arrive on scene, they begin to provide life-saving medical care by applying tourniquets to the now injured suspect until medical professionals arrive. The suspect was rushed to a nearby Level 1 Trauma Center, HSHS St. John's Hospital, where he would succumb to his injuries. The hostage received superficial injuries from shrapnel, and she was treated and released from a local hospital. While the death is tragic, the instantaneous, organized response, which was carried out exactly how the officers were trained, clearly prevented additional loss of life. Officers recovered a Garson 9mm handgun from the foyer area that the suspect had in his possession throughout the entire incident. In accordance with the Springfield Police Department general orders, both initial responding officers have been placed on restricted duty assignment pending the complete and thorough investigation, which is handled by the Illinois State Police. All relevant material pertaining to this case has been forwarded to the Sangamon County State's Attorney's Office. Law enforcement is a dangerous profession that oftentimes requires split-second decision-making. It is this decision-making that can oftentimes be the difference maker as it pertains to active shooting incidents. I commend the professionalism of all responding officers and am grateful this terrible incident was brought to a swift resolution.
So there you go. Just a few closing thoughts here before we exit out of this. For all the naysayers who say that juveniles don't belong in jail, I mean, these are the kind of juveniles that are locked up because they would do this to anybody. I mean, these aren't cute, cuddly kids. Obviously this detention center, the staff or administration was completely inept, totally dropped the ball, through the process, how that firearm was introduced into that facility. It's completely ridiculous, but at the same time, this doesn't fall solely on the Juvenile Detention Center. I mean, court services in Illinois is a complete joke. They are a fraud. They don't treat these hardened thug juveniles as absolute criminals. They would shoot them in a second if they had the opportunity. They don't care. But they help create these conditions to where, well, they have to have, in-person contact visits instead of, hey, let's have these visits, with a window between them or glass between them. Illinois is just, God bless the people that are still in juvenile corrections or any type of corrections in Illinois, because Illinois is just an absolute complete joke, as far as when it comes to corrections, because it's all about coddling criminals, juvenile offenders, and they help create these conditions to where this type of crap happens. So I hope Illinois gets its shit straight, because this is ridiculous. This should never happen. This is a top to bottom failure of knowing the dangers of corrections and loosening all these safeguards to keep corrections safe, to keep other offenders safe, and to make sure that our correctional facilities are safe. But you know, state of Illinois, they don't care. It's like, hey, yeah, let's not treat them like hardened criminals that they are. Let's just, you know, create these conditions to where if there's one slip up by jail staff, yeah, there's a firearm in a jail. It's ridiculous. But, you know, I'm done bloviating. Like I said, PayPal and CashApp are going to be in the description. This isn't going to be monetized. Again, a lot of people ask for that. So if you want to support the channel, great. If not, great. I just appreciate you being here. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification. That way, anytime I go live or release a new video, you're notified. But you know, it's a sad day, sad state of affairs. This has been going on for 2.5 months, and you know, finally, you know, this Springfield PD chief of police had the balls to release this video because the Illinois State Patrol is dragging their feet. Sangamon County state's attorney is dragging their feet. They should know within about a day how that firearm got in there on those visits. And as far as I know, there's no charges pending against anybody. And in the juvenile system, only family really can visit juveniles. Let that sink in. A very small pool of people who could get that firearm in there. And it's a shame. It's a shame. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Love you all. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.